Okay. Stanton's getting down. Who's coming in? Changology. Yo, good morning, John. Stanton's belching out the burpees.
Oh, Stanton's doing burpees.
Yeah, burpees for breakfast. So what's up? And I can't wait to get on Eddie's program.
Right on.
2-month nutritional program. Man, hopefully a bad relationship with food. I gained 10 pounds the last, I don't know, couple weeks. Just been
Oh,
I just
I've been
been freaking eating everything in sight.
I've been working on just I like to do a little biohacking or try different things. So I'm working on I've been doing a lot of watching a lot of stuff on the gut biome. So I went ahead and I've been trying it usually takes like 30 to 90 days to see how it works. But so I'm trying to probiotic supplements. So I'm
Oh,
using
nice. So
using
what are
I'm
the
using
supplements called that you're taking?
so one is by a company called Seed, and like a plant seed. It's their symbiotic one. That one's a two-stage capsule. So it's like the bacteria is encapsulated in a prebiotic. So the capsule actually feeds the bacteria. So when they get released, and the capsule is
Oh,
designed to survive through your stomach, through the stomach acid, and get into the small intestines, and then like come apart and stuff. And then that one's got 24
nice,
strains. That
nice.
one's that one's got 24 strains of bacteria in it. And then there's a bacteria in the gut that is missing in people that are obese or people that have sugar cravings, eating issues. And it's this one particular bacteria. And I happened to stumble on another video on Gaia on gut biome. And so there's a company called Pendulum that has that. There's a couple companies that have this particular bacteria though, but they isolate it and they have like a really good form of it. And so
Oh,
so I
isolated. Okay.
but yeah, they've done studies
Wow.
where they've done studies in like obese people, and they find out that obese people, their gut biome is missing this one bacteria, and this one bacteria um, works on that mechanism, kind of like GLP-1 agonists do, like Ozempic and stuff. So this one gut biome bacteria works for satiation and your craving for sugar and stuff.
Did you
So I'm working.
say it works for satiation?
Yeah, it actually works pretty good. Most of my eating is more psychological than anything. I'm not super hungry, so it's starting to work. I mean, I've only been on it for like 2 weeks. So usually
Nice.
usually gut
Yeah.
biome stuff, you have to give it 30 days to 90
Right,
days,
right. Yeah, it's
stuff
not
like
an
that.
overnight
But the
pill.
seed is super stable, and it doesn't require refrigeration. The one by Pendulum it doesn't require refrigeration, but they kind of recommend for optimal quality, whatever. And I noticed that capsule's like a regular capsule, but
Yeah. Well, I heard that I heard that eating fermented food like sauerkraut or like kimchi, that's really good for the gut flora, you know.
well, I do that too. I love kimchi, so I do eat kimchi. I drink kombucha tea every day. I like
Yeah,
having a
there you
kombucha.
go. Yeah, yeah,
I always buy I
kombucha.
always buy I buy GTS kombucha tea by like the 6 pack. So I always
Oh,
have I just bought one.
nice.
So yeah, so
Yeah,
I eat like
this is well, this is kind of off the subject. There's this new like soda out that is only 25 calories and is so goddamn tasty. I think it's called Poppy. And and uh and it's sold in like Whole Foods, but I want to get a lot of this stuff because it's so goddamn refreshing. But
I,
you reminded
I,
me of it by talking about
well,
kombucha.
part of your food thing, though, is those type of things. Because what happens is you mentally have this ritual where you're going to eat something with that drink. So that drink's tasty, and then you kind of pair it with something. So I try and stay away from those super tasty drinks because of that. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and
that
just
might
drink
be a good
water.
idea.
Just drink water, or if I feel a little hungry, I drink some black coffee. You know, stuff
There you
like
go.
that.
There you go.
Myself down because I love food. So,
Oh, me too, man. Me
that's
too.
my
On
one.
like a next level love, you know.
Yeah, that's my
I
one
love
vice.
it more than being skinny.
I love food. So I don't want
Yo,
to beat
I,
my
I
body
read
up with a
this in a
check.
Stephen Covey book. Check this
Yeah, I don't
quote
want
out.
to. Yeah, I
There
don't
is
want to beat my body up
nothing.
with a check. So I try to eat less food.
Yeah, yeah. Check this quote out. I got it out of a Stephen Covey book. He said, "There is nothing so tasty as fit fails. Nothing tastes as good as fit fails." And I was like, God damn it, I know he is right. I know he's right. You know, I mean, would you rather have the energy of being fit and having a six pack? Or would you like the taste of some kind of rich foods, sweet foods, bullshit foods, you know? So I'm gonna be getting my self-talk app back, and I'm gonna be doing 15 minutes of programming first thing in the morning on food and recovery, because I'm an addict that has been slipping, and I admit it. So, but not on hard drugs. That's the one good thing. Not on like ridiculously hard drugs, but even the soft drugs is like, oh man, too much pleasure for me is bad. Is bad, you know. So I'm gonna starve out the pleasure. I can't wait to be on the program, Eddie's program, to just get stronger and add more discipline into my life, because I'm stopping the bullshit, man. I've been not studying as much and not meditating as much. I got to get back to it. So
Yeah, it's all in the mind. So
it truly is, man. Mind is the master.
yeah, you fix the mind, the body follows. So it's like it's pretty simple, you know.
Fuck yeah, John.
That way, yeah.
I read this huge book, Mind is the Master. Right, this poem strikes me. It's so profound. James Allen wrote this. Um, I believe he wrote this at the beginning of As a Man Thinketh, but it goes, mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind, and evermore he takes to the tools of thought by shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys or 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is his looking glass. Man, I freaking love that poem. The thing about James Allen is his freaking, he writes poetry along in his books, and it's all deep. It's so profound. It's nothing shallow. He doesn't
Mhm.
talk shallow at all. It's all deep and profound. And every time I read his stuff, I feel like I'm reading poetry. And sometimes I am, because he does write poetry. But
Right.
it just fills you with like such hope, and like, okay, this is the blueprint to self mastery, because mind is the master. You master your mind, you master yourself. You have to start with your body and able to master your mind, because our physical body is our lowest form of being, and then it goes, your mental, which is the intellectual mind, which is the conscious mind, then the emotional, which is the subconscious mind, and then the spiritual, highest form of being. You work with the lowest. You start with the physical, the body, right? Oh man, I'm just so pumped
Yeah,
today for some reason.
that's kind of what I'm going to talk about next week. You know, in my in the how to outsmart the game of reality, where the first thing is reality is a mental game.
You fucking
So,
for sure, for
so
sure.
if you remain trapped in the physical world your whole life,
You're stuck.
then yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but
most people think that in order to be successful, they have to take action in the physical world, where and then they'll achieve their their desired
you
outcome.
have to master
Working
the
hard, working
physical
hard. The
world
truth is the other way. It's the other way around. If you can mentally visualize your outcome already, then the body follows the mind.
spiritually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you
you gotta think in the highest form of being from the spiritual, because the spiritual will drive you to fix the physical. You know, I'm honest with myself. I'm accountable. I'm like, I tell myself, give myself those commands of, okay, well, you're failing in this area, so you have to strengthen yourself before these weaknesses bleed into other areas of your life, and then you're totally fucked. You
Well,
know?
what it is what I'm going to talk about goes more along the lines of what Joe Dispenza talks about is
Yeah,
you need to fully like embrace and feel you already have what you want, or you've already achieved what you're desiring in the physical world mentally before you can actually achieve it physically. And so what happens is and I have examples of that in my life where I visualize something in my head and I fully believe I can do it this way and this way and this way, but I haven't done it. I haven't molded that physical world yet.
right.
I've achieved it in my mind and I fully believe in it. And so
Yeah, you
that's
solve
where
the problem mentally, just not
and so that's
physically.
yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then the body follows the mind, and then you create it in the physical world. So the main equation that gives you what you believe in the universe is belief equals truth. So if you fully
yeah.
believe in it, then it happens.
Oh yeah,
And
believe in
and
your belief will create the fact.
that's
That's
where
one of
people
my
hold
favorite
themselves
short
back.
quotes.
That's where people hold themselves back because you know what? Yeah, that's where fear comes in. You know what? They believe they can't achieve it, so long as they don't achieve it. It's really
Right. Well,
if
you
you have
know,
a doubt, if you have a doubt where you believe that's not possible, then it's not possible.
that's
Then in
it.
your
That's
physical
right,
world,
man. Yeah, it's like if you want to find everything bad about your life, you can, because you're right. But if you choose to find everything beautiful and great and inspiring in your life, then that's right as well. You can
well,
create your own heaven or hell, literally.
a prime example of that just happened, like Elon Musk with SpaceX with the world's largest rocket, the booster stage comes back and lands on its own gantry it took off in, like with micro precision. That was something that he dreamt
Yeah,
up in
yeah,
2000. That was something he come up with in 2019. And then he made that into reality. He already believed that it was possible. He already believed that
well,
he could
he
make that.
believes that terraforming Mars is possible. I believe it is
Yeah.
too.
Well, yeah,
You
because there's
know,
already evidence. NASA's kind of squelching up. There's already evidence that there was water on Mars with the formations
right?
and the way you tell the water drainage and things like that. So there was already like at one point existence of water on Mars. That's why my favorite T-shirt. He wears it all the time. He's got the T-shirt that says "Occupy Mars."
I like that. Yo,
Yeah,
but
no,
talking about the body, John,
that's a T-shirt Elon Musk wears all the time. Is "Occupy Mars."
I saw a bumper sticker. One of my buddy's customers, he has a Tesla and he has a bumper sticker on. It says, I had this Tesla before we knew Elon was crazy. I was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, he's always been crazy. Well, every smart
No, no.
person
Well,
is a little crazy.
Elon's in interviews about electric cars. Elon's in interviews, he's like, the government doesn't need to subsidize gas stations. Why do they subsidize and build charging stations?
Fuck
He's
right.
like, he's like, I built electric cars. What happens? I need to be able to fuel those electric cars. So I built charging stations. That was part of the
Yeah.
business model. I
Yeah.
built out a network of charging stations so my customers can charge their cars. You
Right.
can't sell cars without the charging stations. And so he knew that from the get-go.
Yeah.
And he didn't wait for the government, because the government doesn't build gas stations. So why should the government build charging stations?
Right. You know,
Trump getting
our real,
reelected.
1 second, Brandon. One thing I need to say this. Our body is the real vehicle. And I love saying this. The body is a reflection of the mind. The body is an instrument of the mind. The body is a servant of the mind. The body is an expression of the mind. The body is a vibration of the mind. I'm always saying this to myself because you fix the problem mentally and physically, the body will follow, So I just had to say that because it's so profound. The body is a reflection of the mind, when I see someone vibing low or has weak energy, I know where they're at mentally. I'm not psychic. I know though. I know, you know. So if I
You
can
know what
great
it feels
conversation,
like.
we went off with a bang this morning, man.
And you know what it feels like to move across large distances with your own 2 feet. I'm glad you did share that. I was just going to share that, man, Trump being elected and the RFK being on his team has like restored my faith in humanity. Like I totally feel differently about the world right now, and I think
don't.
all hardworking people feel it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, and then that's going to be nuclear, right? Like we're all just going to be like the fish in the net of Nemo movie,
As in
fucking
war.
beating the odds with our connected fucking force forward,
Yeah, Brandon, because you know why he's get RFK is going to upset the apple cart for decades. Big food and big pharma have been milking us for billions and billions of dollars.
No, he said, dude, I'm writing a proposal to him right now. I'm gonna try to get it there with all kinds. I'm gonna hire a kid in Bangladesh to fucking harass the shit out of them for the whole month with it, and try to get it through because he said he was gonna lift the restrictions on small farming. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna finish up my shit with Argentina. I got so much. Man,
Brandon, is this kid in Bangladesh that you keep talking about? Was he in Victor's mastermind?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like fucking harassing me for a couple weeks but I did kind of like lead him along saying that, I do want to learn Instagram and but I think I could do that with YouTube videos, really. If I really wanted to crush Instagram hard, watch a 20-minute YouTube.
You're such an artist. Like I've been telling you, you gotta the tools are not that hard to use anymore, man.
Right.
I'm an old fogey too, bro. I fucking hated technology. I was so proud of not being able to be found on the internet. Like, you know what I mean? So, but
you
make the choice that you're gonna fucking suck it down, and dude, it's not that hard. And you're an artist.
I know, man.
And you're an artist. So
the only person in my way is
super
myself.
powerful tools at your fingertips. You know what I mean, dude? I can't wait to see what you come up with, bro. Really, I'm convinced. Also, like, who's got Bitcoin right now? Like, who's with the times? Bitcoin's about to blow. It's already 10 points higher. What the fuck were you guys doing? What I'm telling you about this AI is just the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
man.
Dude, and it's a better. You don't need money. You just need to invest your time and learning
Fuck
how to
yeah.
manage these AI tools.
And I know
And
you're right. I know you're right. You know,
I know I'm right too.
it's called intuition when you know someone's right. I know you're right.
Thank you for that confirmation. But yeah, dude, I feel a new level of energy thanks to this. You know, for the last 2 days, I can feel the vibration of the world.
Well, man, that's what my hopes are always, you know, for the benefit of humanity. I always thought to myself, Trump's going to do something really great or really bad. And, you know, I don't like tossing those kind of coins, playing those dice, you know, but, you
It
know,
looks pretty
I'm
good.
apolitical. I don't like the left or
Right.
the right. So I'm just a
Well, did
hater.
you guys by chance see any of these compilations? Sorry, did you see any of these compilation videos of the left reactions, like them going on and making their own TikToks and the fucking total
And
breakdowns
I
of,
don't watch that noise. I don't watch any of that bullshit.
yeah.
You know,
It's an interesting study in social sciences, especially
yo,
right
so
now with
what are they saying though?
there's these really crazy compilation videos that people have shared with me that I woke up to this morning. The Clipper Goat cat. He's a creative cat too, right? He's building something. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah. What's his name?
Alex. He
Alex.
had,
Yeah.
yeah, he shared a
Oh, I just want to say real quick, you know, after our conversation that one day, John, on the phone, you telling me about Clipper Goat, I like
Yeah.
had a conversation with myself, like, well, you don't like the computer and you'd have to be on the computer a lot. Yeah, I don't think this is for me. You know, but the thing is, if it started building momentum and acceleration, I don't give a fuck how I feel. I would have been all in, you know, I would have. So, but it fizzled out. It fizzled out. It's
no,
too
I think
bad, man, because I really believe that even like your portal distincto there, Brandon, that
yeah.
could be a major fucking money maker.
Dude, I'm
And I
having
still
a
believe
couple.
that. I'm sure you do too.
I'm still
You know,
I'm not. I haven't given up.
with the proper marketing.
No, actually I just had a couple conversations about that very recently that are very positive. So I'm pushing on all fronts, dude. I'm gonna knock it the fuck out of the park. Watch. 6 more
Yeah,
months,
there you
you
go.
know,
Yeah,
I'm just.
fucking, I will watch, man, and you better.
No, dude,
I will
I'm gonna.
fucking watch. I'm rooting for you.
Boom!
I'm on your side, bro. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do what Babe Ruth did. Like point your
I've
bat
done this
to the
shit
fucking
before,
outfield and then fucking
kiddos.
smack it out.
No, I'm just playing. Wait, what?
Oh, I'm just saying, like you're calling it. Point your bat to the outfield and then smack one out of the park.
I'm gonna Bambino the fuck out of it. Watch. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, this is the point right now.
I mean, man, you got so many good ideas, like visionary ideas that you know, once one of them works, they're all gonna work.
Totally. But you know
One of
what I
them
just
works, and then
watched?
they
You
all
know what I
work,
just
bro.
you know what I just watched on YouTube that's so true? That I can reference it for you real quick. It was it's one of the geniuses of our time. Anyway, I think he was talking to Tucker Carlson and he's saying it was Elon Musk. He was saying it's not the idea, or one of these people. It's not the idea that counts. It's the idea put into action that
That
counts.
counts.
We
Yeah,
have to. You have to. You have. See, here's
massive
the thing
action.
too. we have to realize, we have to look at the mirror and realize we have been hit with constant programming in which his intention is to, hold on, whose intention is to fragment our brains and distract us with a million things we have no control over anyways, so that,
Yo,
hold on, let me finish. Because we all need this in this room, right? Like that fragments our brains so that we can't focus and put one step in front of the other and have faith that that's going to turn into a 5 mile run very quick. You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to feel very accomplished. And there's,
right.
you know what I'm saying? What
Well,
no one can do right. Focus.
Yo, can I say something? I've
Or
been
listen.
reading a bit about reprogramming lately. And I mean, all of us have our programming, right? We were programmed. The fucking thing that's beautiful about it is you can reprogram. You can change the program. You can have a paradigm shift. You know, if your results are in life are directly attached to your paradigm. And how do you do this? It's all self-talk, man. It's all self-talk. That's your programming.
Yeah,
if
but
you change your self-talk to world-class fucking self-talk, you will get world-class results, but it has to be world-class self-talk.
I think, yeah, I agree with that. And I think there's so many people though, dude, that are fucking wealth of knowledge and can talk business all day long, but then they don't have
results.
They don't have results. You know why? Because
paradigm.
No,
I know why.
No, I think no, it's action, dude. They don't take action. They have
that's directly linked to your paradigm.
Okay. Then
yeah.
That.
Yeah, but action, there is an action attraction. You know, you're taking action attracts the result.
So I spoke with Michelle last night. I was interested in her business or programs that she does. Well, she ain't cheap, but I tell you, it'll be worth every penny.
Hell yeah.
And she really picked me apart last night. You know, Bob Proctor always says, "What do you want? Write it down. What do I want?
Yeah.
Who do I want to become?" You know how many times I've wrote that in the past 8 months? Hundreds, maybe even 1,000 times. You know,
repetition is key. Speaking of Michelle,
I still struggle to answer those questions, man. I do, but she just opened my mind up last night, for real. She had me stuttering, and then you know I talked a little bit about my past, and then repetitiously, man, like 3 times right in a row, 444 pops up, and it says, "Let go of your fucking past." That was first thing this morning.
Yeah.
So I did my first microdose yesterday. I did too much. A third of a gram. A third of a gram was too much.
That's a macro dose.
Maybe it was supposed to be like that.
A third of a gram?
A little extra.
A third of a gram.
Of mushrooms?
Yeah, mushrooms.
What happened?
I got
That's nothing.
Yeah, that's what you should take
for me.
It
was too intense.
It's like, you gotta take more than that.
It was too intense for me. Yeah, it was
too intense.
What happened?
Yeah, I got a buddy that cultivates them, and boy, he takes pride in what he grows and how much he grows and the strain he grows.
Yeah, what strain is it called?
Yeah, I was just looking that up. It's a cubenza, which is a group of mushrooms.
Cubanesis.
The Carumba cubensis. Let's see. The strain is discovered in Carumba, Brazil, he says. And he says he's got another one he's grown that they're really weird looking, but they're supposed to be some of the most potent and difficult to grow. So I'm really curious to see.
What's the common name?
The common name?
Yeah.
They just call them cubensis, don't they?
Okay.
Yeah, cubanesis.
Yeah, cubanesis. Yeah. So.
Yes.
So
I've dabbled.
And the
Yeah.
They were still
Mm.
kind of wet when I took them too. So
Oh
drier,
Oh,
yeah, that
really?
drier the
yeah,
drier they are, the more you're taking.
Yeah.
Or is that
Yeah.
or is that why it was so intense? Is because they were wet?
no, it's fresh. It was
Yeah,
fresh.
Well,
they don't.
they should be
The
dried. I mean, there is a drying process.
Yeah, well, he had them on the drying racks, but I guess he needed some lead, so we did some trading, and
Okay.
I'm cool with
There you
whatever
go.
he gives me. So
they're
That's
Yeah,
they're the
yeah.
best.
You
They're the
know what
best
I want to
fresh
do?
because as soon as they
I
start
want
drying
to.
out, oxidizes.
I got a
It
yeah,
gram
oxidizes.
shy of an ounce, and I want to blend it up and put it in
Encapsulate.
like 0.3 capsule.
yeah,
Yeah,
encapsulate them.
capsule it up, and then just micro dose whatever I got left, so I could it does it's a little spark that gets that imagination creativity engine
Yeah,
going, man. It just does. It
Fired up.
just does.
what did Michelle calls that something? Hold on, tell you what she calls that. What it's called, neuroplasticity is
Hell
what
yeah,
that
man.
is.
Yeah,
It
That
makes
yeah,
you
we
is one
talked
of my
about that.
favorite subjects, bro.
We had a mastermind on it.
yeah, yeah. So
Neuroplasticity, it's all repetition to create new neural pathways. That's why I'm getting on my self-talk app program again, so I could do 15 minutes of programming first thing in the morning. All day is going to be programming. It's all programming, man. I want to change my mental program, my paradigm. So
yeah,
I'm gonna do it with repetition of self-talk,
repetition. Yeah,
man.
yeah. Yeah, well, I was kind of peaking coming out of the burpees yesterday, so I was really struggling talking about the cold showers and stuff. And then I went and took, I mean, ice cold shower. It was been pretty cold last few days, and it was ice cold, like hurt my
Yeah.
head cold.
Yeah,
And
yeah, man. I got a
I
well
mean,
water, so it's cold too. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean that helped a little bit, and I went straight into positive affirmations, which didn't curb the negative effects until whatever that guy that you guys recommended for the breathing on YouTube. I turned him on, man, and had 12 minutes of breath work, man, and it completely rebooted my whole being. It was awesome. And I had a
Wow.
really good day. So,
Nice.
and I feel
Beautiful.
great this morning. But Michelle says it's very crucial that you go in with a plan. Don't just start eating mushrooms and expect something to happen
Right. No.
because you can really fuck yourself up. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Right. I never considered well, when I was young, I considered mushrooms a party drug. I don't anymore,
yeah,
man. I treat them with
no,
such respect. You know,
yeah, I
it's
do
not
not
a
want to.
party. It's not. It's a
Not
spiritual.
something. It's not something I want to get high on. And if I do get high, it's got to be, you got to go in with an actual plan, you know, Indian style. Go sit in the woods and listen to nature and trip your balls
Right.
off, you know.
That
Get
could
it.
be
You know
beautiful
the other,
too.
you know what I think another best plan for that is too, and this is what I do is I'll have a long run planned, and I'll take them before the run, and
Ah,
dude, you like
Uh,
yeah.
start running
yeah,
into another dimension, and you just run in your mind. It has that what is it called? It's the auxiliary mode, right? Because your main
Yeah.
focus is to run, so you get to run like this parallel existence through the distance.
Yeah.
And so
You know, it was so funny. Well, it was Saturday after that deck of cards where I took about 2 grams and had some really profound thoughts. But so I'm sitting there and I'm like peeking, and then Danny calls me, and I was like, he's like, "Can you take the call?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. I just want to warn you that I just took." 2 grams of mushrooms about an hour and a half ago. So, but what's up? And he goes, "That's amazing." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "I was calling you to get your advice on if I should go to a mushroom party and take mushrooms tonight." He's like, "I think I found my answer." without even like, and then we just shut the shit for like 20 minutes, and he's like, he was ready to turn around. I'm like, bro, if you're having second thoughts, I wouldn't go, man, because that little bit of that little voice inside, that little negative, I'd listen to that, man, because if you're not 100% sure, like I was vibing so high the other day from the morning mastermind, the deck of cards, the breath work. I was like, this would be but my rate of vibration was through the roof. I was like, okay, this would be a perfect time to have a unbelievable, profound 2 gram little trip, little journey. And it was, because I was in the mental positive mental mind state to know that I would have a great little journey, So I just thought it was funny that he was calling me, asking my advice, and I'm like, I told him that it was funny.
Maybe that was some kind of thing, right? Where he was thinking about mushrooms, you were on mushrooms, and so and you guys are
I was
close.
sending those vibes out, I guess. He picked up on the vibe.
Right.
Morning, Michelle.
Hey, AR, I ordered me some collagen peptides for my joints. So hopefully I'll be running soon again. It kills me
Nice.
that I can't go out and run that cemetery, man. I used to do that a lot.
Why
Man,
can't you run?
cemeteries are my favorite go-to
Yeah.
running spots. I have like about 5 different cemeteries that I run in, and it's either like a cemetery, a track, or a road that hardly any cars will go down, because I cannot be around goddamn vehicles when I'm running. And an 18-wheeler truck goes by, it's like dreadful. It's like, get
Oh,
the
yeah.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just a
Dance
peace
with
and
it.
tranquility in the cemetery for sure. That's across
Yeah.
the street from my house too, so it's there all the time. I got
Yeah.
8,000 neighbors that never complain
It's
or
there all the time.
so
How
And they're all
many
yeah.
dead.
dead people are in that cemetery?
All of them.
Oh man,
All
there's
of them.
probably
Every single one.
it's probably 80 acres. The whole cemetery is probably 80 acres, and there's probably only about 20 of it that isn't occupied.
Oh, they'll
It's
be
a
filling
pretty
that up.
that's a pretty big cemetery.
Nice,
So
nice.
You ever see a dog in a cemetery?
yeah, all the time. They always end up
So do I. There's a cemetery down the road, and that somebody's dog goes over there and sits by a grave.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
Oh,
interesting.
really?
Yeah, it runs off and goes sits by a grave, a certain grave,
yeah.
Wow, I wonder why.
There's a few
right?
dogs that do that over here too. Probably because it's their owner. They go over there and lay on it
Right, it's
or
either
sit by it.
owner or somebody they knew or something.
Yeah. I know the kids were feeding one there for a while. They just take food over there and put it on the headstone there, sitting by and give it water and shit. Kids.
Hmm.
I always try to bring them home. That one dog that was feeding at the grave though, he wouldn't leave. Imagine the dog catcher got him.
The other day, when I had to go
We'll give it
down
another
to
5 minutes and
Taunton.
we'll start the meeting. Okay, sorry, Aaron, but we'll
Oh,
give it another
no,
5 minutes and
problem.
then we'll go at it.
I was by my old pain cave, and so I had to drive around the cemetery because I spent so much time in the cemetery doing burpees and running that I had to revisit it. And then this 3-mile loop that I used to do when I lived down, at Robin's house. And so I had to do the loop just because I spent so much freaking time running that I absolutely love these places. You know, one of them's the old pain cave, that run. But what do you got this morning, Aaron?
I just went back in all my notes from our early mastermind sessions, and I just wrote all the topics down. I was like, and I kind of stemmed off them a little bit,
Nice.
and then I was just gonna ask everybody about a certain one. Some of them are just overcoming limiting beliefs, maximizing your morning routine, prioritizing what matters most, power of networking we went over, emotional intelligence, goal setting and achieving, personal branding, the science of habit formation. I remember our Patrick and maybe you, Aaron, that we're talking about that. I don't know. Self-care, innovation and creativity, financial literacy, becoming an inspiring leader, work-life integration. You gotta have a balance there. And that's I harp on that a lot, is having balance, because people that don't have balance, they get a kick out of something, and then as soon as the honeymoon period's over, they go back to where they were. So yeah, and we all know how easy that is, right?
So easy. And
So
I like this. I like this quote. Good habits are hard to form and easy to break. Bad habits are easy to form and hard to break.
yes. And the short circuit to that is just enjoying what it is. Because like working out, man, I love that shit. You can't give me, I gotta make sure I don't take it to a toxic level. Yeah. But I love right. That shit. Yeah. It's like, dang. And I was like looking back, I'm like, man, it took a lot, to get here, because before I was like, it was like daunting and like, oh, just I have to go through this task. But it's more than that. It's way more than that. But anyway, I'll just go through the list, and I'm gonna just go around and where did I say? Work-life integration, yeah, balance. Balance is huge. Digital detoxing yourself. Another big one is changing the perspective, your outlook, right? That's power of gratitude, leaning into that. Letting go of control is an art, is a skill, is an upper level pro skill, I really believe. So a lot of people, especially adults, they're just like clinging to stuff that, really doesn't serve them. Public speaking, we talked about that. Staying consistent and energized, it's not so much the science of motivation, but it's the safety net of discipline is where you're at, right? And well, yeah, I can go on and on and on. But giving back as a leader is another one we've talked about. So I could go around and ask somebody, or who wants to start? I'll throw something at you. How about John Chang? You want to go, buddy? You want to?
You had this whole plethora of topics here, so I didn't know which one you wanted to pick or go on.
Right. I was going to throw one at you. And I was just going to give you an on spot. How about breaking down your big vision, your goal setting and achieving? What is some of your tactics there?
I mean, well, it goes back to like what I'll be talking about next week is belief equals truth. So what you need to do is to overcome fears and you need to believe in those goals that you set yourself. It's one thing just to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and and make $1 million. That's a, but do you really believe that you can make $1 million? If you fully believe in your mind and you already envision it and you feel the emotion and you see yourself with physically $1 million, then your body follows the mind. But what happens is we have that little self-doubt and we don't have that full 100% buy-in and belief that we can actually achieve that. So then we don't.
Yep.
So then the body follows the mind that, hey, we're not going to achieve that. If you don't feel in your mind. So if you feel in your mind that, oh, I want my goal, I write a goal down. Well, I'm going to get a 6-pack. Do you really believe that you can physically transform your gut into a 6-pack? Do you 100% believe that? If you do, then guess what happens? Body follows the mind. An example of that is like one of the prime examples of my life where I did something that everyone says it couldn't be done, and everything else is like I create a one-man cable cam because I'm a videographer and photographer at the Super Bowl rock crawling one year at King Hammers, and I wasn't able to get, as an independent videographer, I wasn't able to get a permit to fly my drones in the rock crawls. So I developed a system that I could hike the rock crawl and strewn up a cable cam system, a remote control cable cam system, and I bolted my drone to the cable cam system because the drone has a 4K camera and it's super tiny and I can watch it on the screen. I can control and pan that and zoom that camera on the drone. So it was already a built-in wireless camera system that was light enough to hang on the system that I developed. And no one's done this before. Even like my producer, my DP, my director of photography, he's like, "You're gonna do that?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Is that possible?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a ground-based camera system, so I don't need a permit because it was visually attached to the ground." I strung out 500
Yeah.
feet I strung out 500 feet of vinyl-coated stainless cable, and I ran this wireless cable cam trolley with a drone attached to it over the rock crawls, and they couldn't stop me.
Innovation and creativity.
But the whole thing is that everyone's telling me it could be done, but I believed in my mind so much to the point where like I visualized exactly how it was going to strung across the rock crawl and everything else before I even created it. And I believed in it so much, again, body follows the mind, belief equals truth. So I believed in that goal so much that I made it happen in the physical reality. And so that's the thing about goals is when you're writing down goals, you have to really believe in them or they won't happen. You have to really believe in them or you won't achieve them. You have to believe in them to the point that you can visually already see it already happen in your head, right down to feeling the emotions of you successfully completing it, achieving that goal. Otherwise, your body won't follow. Your body won't follow the mind. Your body will follow the mind because if you have any self-doubt that goal isn't achievable, that if you envision your head, okay, I gotta do steps 1 through 10, and then I can do it. It's not that I randomly do these steps in reality, all of a sudden my goal like magically happens. No, it's the other way around. You visualize it, you believe in it 100% in your mind, and then the body follows the mind. And then from your mind, you shape and mold your physical reality. So people always get it backwards where I need to do step, if I just do step A, B, if I just start doing step A, B, and C, and D, all of a sudden my goal is going to happen. Half-heartedly doing these steps in the physical world, not truly believing that if I go through steps 1 through 10, that will I get the result. You have to already believe that the result is possible. Not only possible, that you've already done the result. You just have to physically do these steps for it to magically to appear in your reality. And that's what people have it backwards all the time. They work so hard in the physical space, they don't work hard enough in the mental space. So yeah, writing down the goals or setting goals is a portion that happens in the physical space, but a lot of that achievement happens in the mind first. So you have to put those goals down. So that's how I do it when I'm trying to achieve a goal where it's like, say like, for example, like right now, I like to multitask. My brain always is moving. So like while I'm talking to you, while I'm watching the Mastermind or talking to the Mastermind, I'm doing something else. In this case, I'm editing photographs. And visually, visually, I know that I can create this photograph a certain way. And I already see how the photograph is going to look. You know, there's a certain look I get when I'm doing real estate photography. And so I've always wanted this look. And so you can do the research and stuff, but I firmly believe that with the equipment that I have, you know, I can figure out how to do it in my mind that I've already done these things. So, and then I make it happen. I use technology and I formulate ways in my head, you know, where I can see myself, okay, I'm gonna use this software package, I'm gonna use it in this way. You know, there are no YouTube videos on on which software package to use and things like that. A lot of photographers, they post stuff, yeah, you could do this, but they don't want to tell their secrets and stuff. So a lot of it is like, okay, I'm gonna make this happen. And I fully believe that I can do this. Even like yesterday. Yesterday we had 35 plus mile-an-hour winds. And I'm up in Kingman, Arizona, and I have to shoot a house. I have to shoot a house at noon.
Sand blowing everywhere.
And the real estate agent, I show up at the house, real estate agent's like, is it too windy to fly the drone? I'm like, no, I just brought my bigger drone. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I have two main drones I use for real estate photography, and my backup drone is a bigger drone that I used to use for off-road racing. And I've flown that consistently for 8 hours straight on live shows, live off-road racing shows, where it's like, there's no choice. The producer needs the aerial footage. We don't have a helicopter here. You're the aerial footage for the live show. And so, yeah, I had to fly these drones in like 30-mile-an-hour winds. So for me, I have the experience, but I visualize myself. I know from an engineering perspective, DJI only makes the drones for like 20, 25-mile-an-hour winds. But I know there is a fudge factor in engineering. You, Aaron, being an engineer, you understand that you always
got
something where it's going to operate at the calculated limit. Because if that's the case, that people are always going to push that limit, and then you're going to be prone to failures. So I know that DJI engineered this 30-mile-an-hour winds. They can't say it flies 30-mile-an-hour in case someone has an issue and it crashes, and then they're like, yeah, but you said it could fly that. So I know physically, just by flying them, I'm going to take my $2,000 drone and I'm going to fly it in 30-mile-an-hour winds, because physically in my mind, like, I know there's an engineered, there's a space above what they say can be possible. So, you know, I'm probably the only real estate photographer in the area flying yesterday 30-mile-an-hour winds, because I know in my mind, I visualize in my mind, yeah, the drone's gonna fly. And I didn't even get any high wind warnings with the drone. You know, just the way I fly it. So I was like, I didn't have any issues. So that's again where you have to fully believe in your goals. You know, I see people all the time write goals down and they don't achieve them. Well, that's because they didn't believe in them. They didn't believe that it was possible. They write it down. They figure that if they write it down on a physical piece of paper, that's belief enough. I see it. I physically see it on the piece of paper.
That
okay,
people have emotion. People have emotion tied to goals a lot, right? Which is like, man, I don't know. Like my buddy or I call him, well, a kid I coach in Brazil, right? I'm like, some of his goals, I was like, those are desires and you have emotions attached to that. I was like, I think you were trying to find an outcome of happiness is what I got with him. You know, a lot of desire is just, I want to be happy, you know, you're like, because, you know, and then you get that desire and then like, you have another desire is. So a person needs to differentiate those two. Make sure that, hey, you don't have emotion tied to the goal and stuff. And you're not looking to, you know, be, you know, happy and stuff. What were you saying, John? Sorry.
Emotion is energy in motion. So once you fully believe in your goal, and you start feeling emotions towards, like, you know, once you feel the emotions of achieving that goal, that's actually putting that frequency of energy into motion, that frequency of achievement, that frequency of that. So then you turn around and again, body follows the mind. The body puts that frequency of energy into motion, and guess what happens? you mold physical reality to match your mental reality.
Yes.
That happens with everybody. You know, say like, for example, Aaron's like, I love this food. You know, you physically recognize that, you know, if I eat this pizza or something like that, I'll probably gain 2 pounds. You fully believe that, but you eat it anyways. Guess what happens? You gain 2 pounds. Right? right, AR? Yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so
Absolutely. I've been binging. I
you
know.
in your mind, physically, you're gonna gain weight. So
Well,
guess what happens? You gain
how-
weight.
how far do you think that goes? Can it go the other way as well? Like if I really believe that I'm going to lose weight and
Absolutely.
my mind, can I influence
Self-talk.
my mind to be more, or can my mind influence my body to be more efficient at processing the calories that I do intake?
Absolutely. In fact, there's a point where
Franco
Dr.
got
Joe
something.
Dispenza has done studies where he had a control group that did strength training. You know, it was a controlled environment where they physically lift the weights, and then he had another group in the study just mentally focused on lifting the weights. They lifted the weights mentally, you know, mentally, physically, the physical exertion in their head. Physically, guess what happens? Their muscle gain was the same.
Really?
Did another study where
I'm doing burpees in my mind this morning then.
but here's the whole thing. You have to really feel it to the point where in your mind you feel the physical exertion. You notice how when you recall a memory from the past and you're not physically experiencing, like, say, like someone yelling at you, but you're reliving something in the past mentally, that something happened to you that triggered you. You know, say like, I saw this object, you know, and it was given to me by somebody that you know did me wrong. All of a sudden now you physically feel those emotions, even though you're not in that situation. That is a prime example of how your mind is that powerful. Your mind can physically have you re-experience things, even though you don't have the physical stimulus to it. That person, that violent person, or
Not to
whatever,
the same
standing in front
magnitude,
of you,
though.
huh?
Not to
But
the
is
same magnitude. Really experiencing something and thinking about it, they'll never
Why do you
match.
think people suffer from PTSD?
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not in the physical environment of being shot at in Afghanistan. Yet they're physically reliving that experience because the mind is that powerful. You know, Joe Dispenza did another thing where he had 2 groups of people that never played the piano before. So they had one group physically like do the lessons, you know, physically like practice playing the piano. Then they had another group just mentally, you know, in meditation practiced playing the piano. And then they both got in front of the piano and had to play. And both groups were able to play the piano with the same proficiency. So
The term psychosomatic is the study of the connection between the mind and the body and the biological and physiological processes that are linked. Also refers to the idea of mental or emotional distress that can cause or worsen conditions, as the psychological comes from the Greek psyche and the mind and the body. So yeah, the Prodigy song, right? Psychosomatic. That's
So you gotta understand, you know, so emotions is energy in motion. So guess what happens when you start visualizing or thinking of low frequency events, whatever, guess what happens? You start funneling and channeling low frequency energy into your reality.
Yeah.
And your physical space starts with your body. So a lot of people that are that are depressed or keep reliving past events or stuff, they have physical ailments. Michelle talks about that. You know, they have physical ailments. A lot of cancers, a lot of our modern day diseases are caused by channeling low frequency energy into our body. You know, and that first starts in mentally like reliving experiences and stuff. I had one real estate customer, that I was photographing her home. And after her husband passed away, she had developed all these like ailments. She developed lupus and she was depressed. She was on all these drugs and stuff. And guess what she did? She's like, you know what? She's like, she started thinking positive. She just stopped taking the drugs. And she didn't tell her doctor. She stopped taking her antidepressant drugs. And her doctor's like, wow, you're doing better. She's like, yeah, I'm doing better. The stuff's working. And she's just got these drugs piling up because she stopped taking them. So you see how powerful the mind is when you start channeling different forms of energy, because in the universe, it's just all frequencies of energy. We're all energy. So there's no good or bad energy per se. It's all in your mind. Some people may think that thinking low or whatever gets the outcomes that they desire. So they think that way. Outcomes that they desire. That's all.
Shit.
So going
Right.
back, so bringing it circular back to goals.
Yeah, button it up.
You have to firmly believe 100% in your goals, not just believing that you visually see it happening, believing like the emotions, experiencing in your mind, the emotions attached to it, because emotions is energy in motion. And so once you experience those emotions in your mind, guess what happens? Body follows the mind, channels that frequency of energy, and puts that frequency of energy out into the physical space, and then creates that mental reality in the physical.
Good stuff.
Beautiful, John. Basically, get your mind, get everything on board with yourself mentally, and then quantifying everything.
It sounds like you got to know your target, right? In order to channel the physical,
Right.
align the emotional.
You also need to meter your goal properly, right? Break it down into
Sure, that's part of it.
achievable
Chunks.
chunks,
Right.
exactly. Tangible.
Yeah, that's well said, John. And I've heard some of those examples before where people stop taking medicine and these type of things, and all of a sudden, like playing the piano example, I've heard of that, where it's the psychosomatic, right? It's the mind-body connection, where if I show you where to put the hands and you mentally practice, it's like, for me, like, I did jujitsu for years. And I can go back now in my mind's eye. And although I may not be physically on the map, I know that if I mentally put myself in that space, I can run through routines in my head. And there's a similar story. It's actually a pretty famous story about this. There's a guy that was in Vietnam. He was in the Hanoi Hilton. He was a POW for a number of years. And every day, in order to survive, all he did was play a round of golf. And while we continue here, I'll go look for the actual story. I'll drop the link. But what he did is he practiced golf every day in his head. So then he gets rescued. They bring him into California. They bring him there. They give him the medical check, and they're driving him from A to B, and he sees a golf course, and it's the same golf course in which he was practicing. And he goes, take me to the golf course. Now, this guy is malnourished and whatever. And the short story is he plays like one of the best rounds of his entire life. Hadn't picked up golf clubs in however many years, POW, malnourished, but he played it in his mind so many times because he could see all the holes. He knew how he would hit it. And the short story is, again, he played one of the best rounds of his life. I'll find the story. But yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh yeah, no, I had that written down actually in a journal here. But anyway, we'll move on. That was good stuff. That was goal setting, achieving, breaking down. Let's see here. Who randomly am I gonna pick here? What happened to B-Dog?
I just saw that he left.
Okay.
Or maybe he got shut down,
All right. Well, I got a scenario for. Let's bounce this off Michelle. Michelle, this is an emotional intelligence topic. navigating difficult conversations with people, what are some strategies that you use when you're talking through difficult stuff with your clients, or personal sense, in your personal life, somebody, what are some of how do you approach that, to get the most out of that and make sure that person feels understood, right? That human connection, that goes a long way with the emotional intelligence.
Yeah, I always make sure first I figure out what it is that I'm needing from the scenario, the person. If it's a need I'm trying to get met, like say in a conversation, sometimes people just need a sounding board. Like sometimes like your friends, your family, you might even be the one who you're just needing to be a sounding board. You need to talk your thoughts out loud. You're using another person as the sounding board so you can complete what you need to do, or how you really feel, how you really think. So you're essentially using this person as a sounding board. You might not even need their opinion. You might not care about their opinion. You might not even want their opinion. You just need them to stand there as you talk your game, as you say the thing out loud, you strategize yourself. And this happens all the time as humans. We just don't realize that we're just needing to say something out loud. I actually had this conversation with someone yesterday. I was like, so what I'm understanding is that you need to talk this out loud, right? She's like, yes, I just need to get this out. And I was like, great. So it sounds like you need a sounding board. She's like, yes. And I'm like, great. So there are also other ways that you can have sounding boards without having to use someone else's time and someone else's energy for an hour. Like I helped her understand how she's just using people to sit there, right? As she's just dumping. And it's totally okay if I feel like you let know, hey, I need to vent. I just need a sounding board. I'm trying to make a decision. I think
right.
It can also ruin relationships when we're not aware that we're just emotionally dumping, or we're needing a sounding board, right? Because you're essentially using someone else's valuable time. Could be an hour, could be however long, to just get our own thoughts together. Like you don't even want their opinion. You don't even want. So anyways, I was having a conversation with this person and helping her understand you can journal. You can go into a meditation and literally have that conversation with your own self. Like those are different ways. Journaling, having that conversation with yourself, like basically self-talk and asking yourself those questions. How do I really feel about that? And then let yourself answer it, creating that space internally. That's one of the number one things that I do is I do a 5-minute check-in with myself every day.
Yep.
And just close
Same
my
with
eyes,
me.
one hand on my heart, one hand on my stomach. And I'll just ask, all right, so how are you feeling today?
Take a little inventory. Exactly.
I act like I'm talking to a 5-year-old version of myself, because essentially we're all just like, older kids in bigger bodies, but we're still like 5-year-olds to an extent, especially a lot of us emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
I was helping her understand the need that she had was blank. She had a need to strategize for her own self, for her life, right? She didn't actually need me though. And so I was like, some people communicate because they want information. They want feedback from the other person. Like maybe I come to you because I'm like, hey, can I share something with you and get your opinion on something? So now you're listening to wait and to think, right? And now you're going to give me your opinion. You're going to offer me your viewpoint. So that's one way in communication. And then another way would be if you're having a discussion with somebody, but yeah, like I said, if you're not wanting their opinions, like communication wise, they don't know why you're communicating. So it's always important to establish, hey, can you just listen to me for a second? I just need to get something out, right? So you're establishing in the connection. Otherwise, some people are also just seeking a connection, right? So like I might hit up Ken and I'm just looking to connect. And maybe I just want to talk. I just want to have a conversation, because the need in that, like the Tony Robbins 6 human needs, who went over that? Was that Eric? Somebody went over the 6 human needs. I forgot who it was, but we went over, it was the guy who's not here. Relentless.
Oh yeah, Danny
went over it. So one of the 6 human needs is connection. So sometimes people talk to you because they're just desiring connection, and whatever connection, they're not attached to how the conversation goes, where it ends up, where it turns. Like they don't care. They don't have an agenda. Their need is connection. So when you're just connecting with them and you're just chatting back, yeah, what's up, bro? How's it going? They're literally getting their need met. That's it. So So I have recognized is people have different needs and why they're reaching out, why they're having conversation, so it's a huge win to be able to kind of establish, okay, are you looking for my opinion in this? Are you just looking to be heard? Are you just wanting to connect? So we can establish our own selves to like, why am I reaching out to this person? What is the need that I have that I'm even hitting this person up? Why am I calling her? Why am I calling him? We can do self-reflection, because a lot of times too, we can keep ourselves out of trouble by figuring out what's the need there and then filling it ourselves. Or at least if we're using someone else to fill that need, we're at least aware. And then we can make that request. Hey, I'm looking for some feedback on something. I'd really love your opinion. Or I just need a sounding board right now, if you don't mind being that for me. And there's no shame. There's no shame in it.
Right.
But I think it's a huge win to be able to have that awareness and communication, because that's the number one reason why a lot of relationships fail, is because of poor communication skills. So I'm
exactly
for to study communication, that what I'm like can be heard and understood, which is also this. I'll say this last part is everyone has the need to be heard and understood.
I mean, validation, right? Everybody wants to feel validated.
Yeah, but like, so if you're in an argument or you're in a conversation,
that's a huge one,
and you don't even, if the other person doesn't feel like you heard them, number one. So let's say you're arguing with your chick and she's like, you're not even hearing me. She literally she's wanting to be heard. So it's like, okay, I hear you. This is an awesome, easy way to anyone to help put out the fire. I hear you. I understand what you're saying. And then you can keep arguing if you want. Say whatever you want after that. But those are
I mean, are the needs understood clearly too? What are the exact needs, right? Sometimes people, like you said, people are talking to others or trying to connect with others without even knowing exactly
why
what the end game they want is.
But they're yeah. So it's
twisted.
As we increase our ability to communicate, we can be the one to ask that, like I did with the woman yesterday. And I and she'd be okay with me sharing this too. She's really, anyways, but she clarifying that way, like next time, because I noticed it was a pattern that showed up consistently. And because she would actually, sometimes she would get aggravated if I would start offering my, because she wasn't looking for opinions. She was trying to figure her own like chaotic tornado. She was trying to figure out her own tornado and just, calm it down.
But if she leaned into interdependence a little bit more there, she probably would have got a lot more out of the whole interaction, right?
Yes. So we had a conversation about starting journaling, and like I'll write down like, what am I needing? I journal every single day, so that I don't have to use, I don't feel good about it. Like, just be like, hey, will you just sit there? And I actually don't want your opinion. I actually don't care what you have to say. I don't want any of it. A previous version of me that didn't know that. Yeah, I used to just emotionally dump. Hey, this is what I'm going through. These are my problems. And I would just be using your brain to figure out my problems, pretty much. Which again, without judgment, do what you want to do. But I used to be that person. So karmically, it happened to me. And now I'm just kind of reeling it back into offer. Hey, this is what I do now. I do self-talk for myself. I journal a lot. Like I go inward, or I'll talk it out loud, but I'll write out different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
So and even journal prompts. What am I needing right now? What am I looking for? What is the best case scenario that I'm hoping to achieve here? So I'll do like little journal prompts for myself to undo my own tornado. And first and foremost is I'll do a nervous system regulation. Do a little box breathing to calm the nervous system so that my brain can actually get out of fight or flight and have a clear thought.
Yeah. Smelling salts also works good for that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sounds funky, but it does.
I have heard that. Yeah. For me, tapping though, I'll do tapping too, where you can just tap like even your collarbone. This will calm your nervous system.
Tapping, yes, I went over that in another course I took.
Yeah, while you're driving, even like right now, I'm not doing anything. I feel literally my legs relaxing. So making me take a deep breath. Like just doing this while I'm talking to you guys is literally calming my nervous system without doing anything, just hanging out. So
wonderful. That's a great insight. Yeah, you always need to look at your reasoning behind your communication with somebody, right? And you got to make sure that whoever you're talking to, their agenda, right? You gotta kind of figure that out yourself, right? Is this person using me, or is they actually looking to, seek my wisdom?
Well, and the
And
person
yeah,
was actually my mom. I was helping educate.
well, exactly. I mean, moms aren't perfect either, right?
Well, like, oh, and I used
Kind
to
of the
realize,
older you get, the more you kind of see of where he's like, "Wow, yeah, my mom is a human."
yeah. And I had to my mom that I was like, possible that I have studied a whole different world than you've ever studied, that maybe your generation actually didn't study, was uneducated in. So then my generation is taking it upon ourselves that we want to fix these areas of life. So a lot of people like me have become like obsessed with personal development and communication and spiritual healing. We become obsessed with this because we don't want to make the same mistakes. We want to build an improved generation, like I believe we're supposed to do. The younger is supposed to be better than the next, improving society. So I was like telling my mom, like, and I realized I used to unconsciously avoid her phone calls because I realized it, but like I used to get off the phone like, what was that? Like, what was the point of that? And I used to get,
Right.
there went an hour of my day when I had a list of shit to do. Like there went an hour and she didn't even want my opinion. She actually might argue with my opinion that I'm
Now
like,
I'm all twisted up and I gotta freaking fix myself now. And
yeah,
yeah, I
like,
get it.
like, mom, we get to fix this. This doesn't work. Well, and I use this, I say, it either works or it doesn't work. So instead of judgment saying, I don't like this, mom, or this pisses me off, or instead of it being more like judgmental terms, I'll say, hey, mom, it just doesn't work for me. That way I'm not making her bad or wrong. I'm just saying, for some people, mom, they have nothing to do all day and they would love for you to call them and be there. They would take honor in being your sounding board, mom. There are certain people that would love you, like a great auntie or someone else has nothing, like there are people who would love to be that role in your life. And I'll tell them, but for me, it doesn't work to be that role. I feel used up. I feel XYZ. I feel taken advantage of. I feel like you don't understand the things that I have going on in my life, that you think I just want to sit here all day and be used as a sounding board. And so I just say, be like, in a loving way, I'll just say, it doesn't work for me where I am in my life right now. It might work for me, who knows, when I'm fully retired, which will probably never happen because they say retired and you're waiting to die. So I'll never retire because it's like
Never.
for death. But yeah, works or it doesn't work is an easy way to communicate to someone you don't like that treatment, or if it literally doesn't work for your life. I'm like, hey, how my life is set up, it doesn't work for you to call me at midnight because I won't be there. I won't answer. So it doesn't work.
Beautiful. No, yeah. Feel the same way. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, why don't you go download Chat GPT and have a conversation with that, because I cannot take this. I've thought of that a couple of times. I was like, hey, brother, go download Chat GPT. He wouldn't take that very kindly. Anyway, Aaron Roberts, I got one for you, buddy.
All right.
Letting go of control. And you could take that a couple different ways, I mean, otherwise, our control of situations, and then, control of, or delegation, right? Letting go, letting others take the lead on stuff. What resonates with you there as I talk to that, give you that topic? Letting go of control. Either
Letting
aspects
go
of your life,
control.
right? Personal or your work life. Personal could probably, I guess with your daughter, right? That could be
Yeah, it's
a touchy
outside of my
one.
control.
You don't have to talk about that if you don't want to. Whatever you want to talk about, buddy. Just let's get inside your psyche a little bit here.
Well, I know self-control is so important because, the body's a vehicle of the mind, right? And temperance is one of those 4 stoic virtues. So you have to know what you should be trying to control and what is outside of your control, you know, letting go of the control. You know, I always told people I'm the opposite of a control freak. I'm an out of control freak because I like reckless fun, you know? And I mean, so, but now I need to be a more of a control freak, but not to other people, only to myself. You know, stern with self, kind to others, kind of
Yes,
thing.
right.
You know, that stoic little nugget there, stern with self. So yeah, I've been noticing that I've been slipping with self-control because I'm always like I was always someone who never really thought of the consequences of you know, my actions. And you know, now I do. And I know that it takes a good amount of discipline if you want to master yourself. It takes a lot of discipline, you know, but
Mm.
it's inside of your control. It is, you know, and it's all stems from how you talk to yourself. That is your mental program. How
If
you
that's
talk to
not,
yourself.
if that is not the apex of it all, really,
It really is, man, and it's so overlooked.
it
And it's so
is.
profound that, you know, I am downloading that self-talk app because, you know, I'm getting on Eddie's program and I'm changing everything up. People say do one thing at a time. Nah, I don't believe that. I don't believe you should focus on one thing at a time.
Well,
If you want to just
yeah.
screech the
Mhm.
brakes and do a total 360, you can. Don't and you can do several things at a time,
Yes.
you know, and
And
which
we
is
talked about that with your genius zone, right? All of a sudden, 40 minutes, you're cranking along, just flow state, and all of a sudden you kind of like hit a wall. It's like, oh well, you're out of your genius zone, man. Switch it up. Like you're saying, switch it up, do something else, go to another genius zone, go work out, do your working out
flow state.
genius
Yeah.
zone, or go do your you know, your insightful meditation genius zone. You know, there's so many genius zones we have, right?
You know, creativity is my zone. That's my flow state.
Yes,
When I'm do or a song I want to write or you know,
that's the
just
ultimate genius.
jazzing with a deck of cards or magic, sleight of hand or juggling, you know, that's my flow. And well, I love this quote talking about genius. Talent hits a target no one else could hit, but genius hits a target no one else could see. I love that, man, because
Because it's
we all
only
have
belongs to
targets no one
you.
else can see.
Everybody's genius is unique to them. And it's kind of sad, like some people, like you see, like we've talked about the programming where people just sit, chill, watch Netflix and stuff, or you know, go to their job and then go home and escape. It's like, man, you are short circuiting your genius zones. Like you're not even like, have you dabbled in that
Yeah,
all
you
at all lately?
I mean
It's
the self-talk must be so horrible at this point that, you know, they
yeah,
just
it's
want to shut their brain off and blow
you're
spit
right.
bubbles watching the Cosby Show or some fucking boring lame ass waste of time.
Watching reruns of
Waste
Family
of
Matters.
time. What's that, Aaron?
I said watching reruns of Family Matters or something stupid, right? The Cosby Show, whatever.
Man. Oh man, I can't stand
Garbage
reruns.
TV.
I can't
It
even
just
sit. I mean,
solidifies the programming.
you know, and to create a routine, you know, that is inside of your control. So I'm even journaling today, the commands that I'm giving myself because, you know, it's getting closer to the time. Like in a week, I'm starting Eddie's program, and I'm gonna be focusing and following it to a T.
I thought
And
you were on it already.
what's up?
Weren't you?
No, I
Weren't
did
you?
Fit for Fall. I did
Oh,
Fit for Fall. His Fit for Fall program, and that's
Cool.
when we like reconnected, and you know, and then he started telling me about a nutritional program, and I was telling him about I'm getting the 6-pack, and he's like, yeah, well then it's time to you know, your problem is the food, and you know, it's just it's not like I eat, well, sometimes I eat you know, pint of ice cream, which is a total backstep. And nothing tastes as good as Fit Fail. Nothing tastes as good as Fit Fails, man. The feeling of having that 6-pack, that tastes really good compared to a pint of Ben and Jerry's. You know,
How about
taste
tasting the Ben and Jerry's
delicious.
when you're fit? How about being fit and then tasting the Ben and Jerry's? Ultimate.
Oh
The
yeah,
ultimate.
yeah. But at that point,
You earned
you'll
it.
probably be talking to yourself like, yeah, and I shouldn't even be doing this. Yeah, I'll eat a third of it. I won't smash the whole thing. This will be 3 sittings instead of 1. You know?
You got to meter it to yourself. That's why I'm
you
like,
know,
all my
and that's
sweets.
hard to do. That's hard to do, especially if you've been smoking a little pot. Forget it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like to say all the sweets and, you know, sugary and all that fun junk food. I store it in my pantry, and the pantry is the store. I know where it's
I can't
at.
even
I
store
go
it,
to the
man. I'll
store.
do it.
I know it's at the store. It's chilling over at the store for me. I don't keep it here.
There you go. That's good. Yeah, I'll store it in the store where it belongs. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always there if I want it.
Yeah,
I know how to
exactly.
get there. I could sleep.
But it's not within arm's reach. I can't trust myself
Not within
with
arm's reach.
reach. Especially when you
I
have
gotta
some
say this.
when you
Oh,
have some
hell
sugar
no.
throughout the day, especially the refined sugar. Now we've talked about this. Some triggers in your brain. It's like, man, with the refined sugar, that could wake you up in the middle of the night craving sugar. You
Oh, it
know,
happens
it's
all the
like
time.
It
It
really
happens.
is like crack. Like
it is. It's
like refined sugar. It really is like a heroin or a crack. Yeah, it
You know.
definitely.
yeah. Once they
And-
refined the sugar, they like took it. It was already concentrated, and took it and further concentrated it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. You know, instead of waking up last night and eating junk food, I woke up last night and I had cut up a whole honeydew melon and I ate some of that, and I was just like, okay, this ain't that bad. Of course, it's still eating in the middle of the night, which is a bad habit. But man, I wake up with a freaking voracious monster kind of hunger. I just need to eat something real quick. You know,
And
I
it's not
don't
like
know.
you're craving protein. You're like, oh, where's some protein? Where
Right.
is it?
And you know what? I haven't been as hungry lately because when we did the 1,000 burpees, I kind of messed up my knee, so I haven't run for 3 weeks. But when I run, you know, I've been very consistent for 4 years now. When I run, I notice my appetite is so voracious. Like, but I'm running big miles. I'm not doing it. You know, my average run is a 6-mile run. You know, that's the lowest amount that I do, and then of course I do the crazy runs too. You know, and I was supposed to do on November 10th, which is very soon. I was supposed this weekend actually, right?
2 days,
I
3
was
days.
supposed to do a half marathon trail run. Oh, actually, I gotta send my buddy that info. Yeah, half marathon trail run through the woods of Upton, Mass. And
Oh,
I did
nice,
it
nice.
last year. It was so beautiful, but I my knee, man, I think
Yeah.
I'd be messing it up a little more. So maybe I'll just stick to like a
Right.
2-mile run before I try to jump right back into the 6, see how the knee responds, you know. So yeah,
Good stuff,
I'm
Aaron.
gonna
Letting
be
go.
investing in more control, more
Yeah,
self-control,
just
temperance, you know.
I mean, the moment you think you've arrived is the moment you've instantly became in the wrong.
Right, absolutely,
Right?
man,
Because
because there is no
I
finish
mean,
line. Like
there's
like
nothing, you'll
Michelle
never
just
get
said,
there.
yeah, there is no finish line. Like Michelle just said, I will never retire. Yeah, me either, man. Me either. You can retire from a
Can't.
job, but you can't retire from life.
You leave the
What
door
are you
wide
gonna
open.
do?
You leave the door wide open because you're filling your time. Your brain and your mind wants to build itself, wants to exercise itself with or without your help, right?
Right,
Like
right.
your
And
brain is going to do what it's going to do. If you want to train it in the proper way, great, your brain's on board.
right.
But otherwise, your
Program.
brain will move on without you.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm creating my program of what works for me. So it's going to be the early morning wake up, and then 15 minutes of self-talk, because 15 minutes of self-talk is going to affect the rest of the hours in your day. Polarizing yourself on positive self-talk. Yeah, I've noticed it. I think positively. I'll think positively from that 15-minute investment. And like Brandon always says, there is no victory lap. We don't run a victory lap. We're just on to the next victory.
Well, you can take a
The
victory
next
lap.
goal, the
Just take
next victory.
one, wave to the
Yeah,
crowd. Thank you, everybody, for your support, and then get back to the next one.
Oh, hell
You
yeah.
gotta, no, I mean, what's that? Say it again.
Brandon's trying to say something. We can't hear you, bud. Can't hear you, bud.
Love you, Brandon. We know, I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I
We
can
know you got
I can feel
something
what you're
good to
coming
say,
at.
but we can't hear you.
All right, let's throw another topic out there. Let's see here. Ken, we'll go Ken and then Stanton. Let's just try to keep it concise. Okay. Let's see here. Which one resonates with me with respect to Ken? Okay, here we go. Staying consistent and energized, whether you like to call it discipline or motivation, along those lines, what's some of your psychological principles behind keeping yourself driven and keeping the momentum, even when, you have challenges and stuff?
Okay, so the word that's used in the spiritual aspect is faithfulness.
There
So
you
are you
go.
faithful?
There you
Are
go.
are you faithful to what you've been called, you believe you've been called to do? And staying faithful, being consistent, being there, being reliable. Faithfulness, consistency, reliability are those aspects of who you are. We talked about identity, right? When I was sharing it, it's a very valuable concept on understanding who you are, and when you're like Michelle was talking about her 5-year-old self, and I was thinking about if you could talk to your inner child, and if your inner child asks you, so who are we? And because that's one of the things that we try and form early on is our self identity, and when it comes to the concept of being reliable and consistent and faithful, that's something you would want to say to your inner self. This is who we are. We are someone who is dependable. We are someone who adds a level of consistency to the lives of ourselves and those around us. When people think of us, they should think of, oh, hey, that's a person I can count on. Are you that person? Like, and for me, when I have the mental idea of who I am and what I'm, what type of world I want to be in. I want to be the change that I want to see. So isn't it distressing when you deal with somebody that's not consistent? Like when somebody it's always erratic, it brings this whole chaos into the equation.
Especially when you have to deal with them when you have to.
Yeah, indeed. Like someone you're
Right,
married to,
that's
something. Yeah,
right, or relative or coworker or something.
yeah. And so, but what are we going to do? Well, one of the Army values is lead by example, right? Right, Franco? So,
Exactly.
we lead from the front and not from the rear. That means we set the example of for the people that are around us. We be the consistent, reliable, dependable, the person who sets that example, and that way we can influence others, and not just by saying, "Hey, this is what you should do," but you say, "This is how we're going to do the thing. Watch me and follow me." And that's what a leader does. They lead from the front. And so consistency in life and reliability in life, you're not going to be an effective leader if you're not consistent, right? Like you got to have a mental focus that say
Right,
that.
that'll burn you. It'll burn you at some point.
Yeah, you have
Somebody
to
you're
be.
either leading will see the disconnect, or you'll falter on something you need to perform as a leader, right?
Right. If you're not
Yeah.
consistent, yeah, you might have a win. You might be able to influence the situation, but again, it's not going to be a consistent pattern of wins.
No, the law of
It's gonna,
averages will get you.
yeah, you'll be on this ups and downs, and you'll always be trying to get for that bell curve. But for me, I try and keep it a consistent upward trend, right? So I might have days when I'm less, I might have days when I'm more, but I'm always pressing, and I'm always moving. And for me, this is the consistency in spiritual and mental development is something that I focus on. Um, you know, building from where I've come from, building on the things that I've learned, and then going forward from there. One thing that sparked me something that you guys were talking about earlier. So what's the most important day of your life? Anybody got a suggestion on what the most important day of their life is?
Today.
Every day.
I mean,
Haha,
the present
Yeah.
knows. Yeah. So today
Figure
today
out-
is the most
I
today
like
is
it.
definitely the most important day of your life. So when we're thinking about the
I like
things
that.
that we cannot change, you cannot change the past, and you haven't gotten to tomorrow yet. Today is the only day that you can influence. And so today is the absolute most important day of your life. Right now, this moment is the only moment that we have any type of control over. So God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot change the mistakes that I've made in my past. I cannot change the things that have happened to me in my past. But I have control today
Mhm.
to either use the things, learn from the things in the past, or allow the things in the past to control me. And I'm not a victim of the past. I'm a victor. I'm a conqueror over the things in the past. And so today I choose to get up. Today I choose to overcome. And so today is the end, and today is the only day I can choose to do that. I don't know what I'm going to be facing tomorrow, but I know right now, today, I can rise up. I can overcome. And again, that's a consistent mental attitude. Like I was talking about yesterday. I can and I will. That consistency of maintaining those two aspects of saying I can and I will. I can do these things. I can overcome. I can be the person that God has called me to be, and I will do the things. I will press in. I will be a light, and I will be
Yep.
the salt and light that I believe Jesus has called me to be. I'm going. I can and I will, because those for me, it's not even me. It's God working through me. So I most definitely can do anything that God has set before me, because God is the one that gives me the power to do what I need to do. So I maintain my trust in that there's something greater than me that has power to influence the environment that I'm in, and the outcomes. So I'm not even responsible for the outcomes because I'm trusting that God is working in and through me, and so God's bringing the outcomes. And so that again, that's my consistent mental state, my consistent spiritual state is that I operate in faith, trusting that the divine architect of the universe is he put me in his plans and he's working out his project, and I'm just along for the ride, and it's an awesome, exciting, and beautiful thing to be a part of. And so today I'm going to make the choice to rejoice. Every day you have the choice. You can make that choice to rejoice because you have breath in your lungs, you have food in your, you can eat, you have clothes on your back. All with these things, I'm thankful for, and so again, that's a consistent mental mindset that I try and cultivate. So cultivation of a positive, consistent, reliable mindset is something that we need to continually press into. Amen.
Amen.
I like it.
Let's go.
You
So,
threw a lot at me. What I wanted to say there. Well, a lot of it, works into having that proper perspective, right? And I can, I will is a self fulfilling prophecy, really, right? It is kind of,
Amen.
where you want to get things done, you want to consistently seek out solutions, be persistent, just give that nitty gritty pursuit of achieving goals no matter what, right? So I like it, Ken. I'm glad I asked you that one. I knew you'd give the group a great insight on that. Let's see here. Stanton, what are some of your self-care strategies when it comes to, and I know you've talked about this a little bit, to preventing, burnout on, balancing your lifestyle and all while trying to level up and, personal development, right? However that may be, because you've been in here for a while now, so you must have some strategies to prevent yourself from kind of overextending yourself, burning yourself out. Does any of that resonate to you, or what comes to mind as I say this to you?
Well, I'm taking on too much. I tend to do that a lot. It burns me out quick. And I'm pretty simple minded, and I like to be straightforward, honest, pretty black and white,
And that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever, man. I mean, whatever comes to mind.
I think what burns me out the most though is being inconsistent and not persistent in my personal development. And for a few weeks now, man, I mean I've been completely distracted. I know I've been in here, but I haven't been here. I've been preoccupied with whatever's been
Yes.
going through my mind.
Uh-huh.
The life changes, the harvest season. It's still consuming a lot of me, and man, I got burnt out on weed. So now on top of everything that I'm doing, I'm sober now, which is awesome. I mean, completely sober. I mean, I've been off meth and for forever, but I've never been really completely sober because I've been stone stupid for 25, 32 years, however long it's been since I was 8 years old. I'm almost 43.
Dang.
So, and that, I mean, for the first little while, yeah, it was kind of burning me out just not being stoned. And it's taken me a little bit for my mind to actually start working the way I need it to work.
Yeah.
So I
The
was so used,
neuroplasticity.
Yeah, I was so used to
Yeah.
just getting stoned and just letting everything flow and being, like whatever, man. And it didn't work. It just quit working for me. I mean, I guess it never really did work because I've been stuck in the same boat for so damn long. And that really burnt me out. Being stoned burnt me out just
Staying in
by,
the stone zone.
yeah, stone zone for real. I
It's
even,
amazing how your ego changes. It's like, oh, you go from, oh, I can crush anything to, what the hell is the point?
They call it being
yeah,
baked, right? Like
yeah.
you're always wake and bake, and you're just cooking
Oh
yourself.
yeah. Unless you're on
All the
vacation, unless you're on vacation or something, that's a huge no. If you're waking and baking, that's a self-medicating. Come on, this we can do better
Yeah,
than
that's
that.
that's beyond
But at the
self-medication.
same time, you can't blame anybody, right? Because we all have to answer to ourselves. That's the magical, wonderful checks and balances of substance abuse. Is you gotta answer to yourself about it. And you can't
Yeah, that's
nobody else. You can't go talk to mommy. You don't have to tell mommy about it. You gotta freaking go look in the mirror and be like, hey man, I straight up did this to myself. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, environmental influences suck. Well, I'll just leave it at that. Go ahead, Sam.
yeah. It's choosing not to deal with my problems, and I think I might even be answering some of the questions that Michelle was trying to get through to me last night by,
Yeah, whatever's
oh,
coming to mind. You don't have to stick on this topic. Exactly. I mean,
yeah,
just speak where it
you
works.
know,
The
the whole
freestyling
idea,
here.
yeah, the whole idea of getting sober is to get my mind, and I don't remember the last time I had a clear mind that wasn't chemically influenced by something, somewhere, somehow.
Yeah, learn to love the sober self, right? It's like,
Yeah,
and man, I'm kind of running from my baseline self.
yeah. I
So
mean, it's been a process. I mean,
it is.
the other day I fell off the ladder and I was sore, so I had an edible and I went to bed. But
Well,
I
you
mean,
literally fell off the
that,
ladder, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it happens. Ground was soft. The foot of the ladder went into the dirt, and I fell.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yes, man.
So I did eat an edible that night.
Couldn't grab the
But
rain gutter.
Well, you're lucky you got out with unscathed.
Hell
so
yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted.
I mean, as far as that goes, so I'm not up all night in agony because I retwisted my knee up. It helped me sleep through the night, but the next day it still hurt, and so there's other steps that need to be taken besides trying to kill the pain. I mean, there's other ways to do it, and that's. But ultimately, I ordered that collagen stuff that AR suggested to me. So hopefully I can start rebuilding some things.
Yeah, man.
Rebuilding
Exactly. That's
not
the
only my
thing.
body but rebuilding my mind.
You got to stay interested in the growth no matter where it's at. And if, like, because a little while back, I injured myself, so I couldn't hit the physical aspect of, personal development. And I had to work through that. And now I'm better, but it's like, man, that's kind of scary a little bit. It's like, Aaron, you don't need,
Yeah.
I almost felt like, hey, there was a little bit of the doors open a little bit for me to just completely, give up. But it's like, that's old self talking, old self. Like, hey, I thought I took you out back and dispatched you, but I guess you're still around.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of that. I don't want to get out of bed and go to work today, so I'm just not
Yeah.
going
So
to.
I guess my question to you, Stanton, is you're consistent, and if you're not here, you tell us that you're not here. You're consistent in the morning. Could you define that one thing that keeps you coming back? And if not, that's okay. You don't have to.
No, no, man. It's the desire to get that personal development. It's that
Oh
desire
boy.
to keep
Right.
myself going to the next level, whether I'm plateaued for a month or a year. Why stop? Why
Right.
stop and go back? Go
Fuck yeah.
back because then I got to start all over again when I come out of it again.
Right, because
It's
right, you'll go back onto this path again. And
so
yeah.
it's the next step. It's the next step. And what is the next step?
Well,
I have a question real quick. Stanton, you bought those peptides, that product?
Yeah,
Let me know
they're
how
in the
that
mail.
works, man. Let me know how
Okay.
that works. I was thinking of doing the same thing for my knee issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So-
I mean, that video you sent me, he's not the only one that has talked about it. I got a buddy that I haven't seen in 20 years that's come back to town, and he was talking about the peptides and stuff and healing, because I've been complaining about shoulder pain, so he's like,
Yeah.
well, I can help you with that. And he just started to, so yeah. And you know how the universe and God have a way of slapping you in the face with things you should be doing. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's just over and over and over consistent, just like talking last night about, I got a whole page of crap that I wrote down last night about what do I want? The question that I've been writing down since March. What do I want? Well, I want personal development. I want my health. I want happy kids. I want happy life, clean home,
Beautiful.
financially
Right.
stable,
One of the most
So-
important aspects of sobriety is today. Okay, so today are you choosing to be sober today?
Oh, I'm choosing it. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
choice.
so you choose to be sober today. Again, and today is the only day that you can be sober.
Yeah.
Right,
So today is the day that I'm choosing, and so it's been 17 years since I've gotten high.
Really?
And
That long?
yeah,
Good for you, dude.
yeah, and
Hell yeah.
every and sometimes it's an active thing that I have to choose on that day. Like I mean, when I was experimenting with kratom, I don't know, last year, I was just like, yeah, I'm not taking this to try and get high, and I don't want to get like, I know how getting high is, and I know why I would want to get high, but I don't want to get high anymore. Like I don't need to get high anymore. Like so, and when I think about today is I mean, if I'm gonna introduce some kind of substance, I'm doing it to try and help me focus more or be more effective. I'm not trying to escape the day, and so chemicals that we ingest for escapism, trying to avoid avoid dealing with the day. That's something that we need to consciously remind ourselves. So no, today I'm not afraid of what I have to face today because God is with me. I don't need substances. I don't need these things because I know that I am loved, I am forgiven, and I'm called for today. So I can and I will be sober today. Amen.
Amen. Yes, sir.
Amen.
Pray the Lord
Okay.
above.
Something that's really been weighing on me. What are some of my self-care strategies? Another one is uh separation from the people that choose self-destruction. And that's really impacted me mostly
Right.
because I'm in the roofing industry, and with roofing industry, you have parolees and junkies and drunks, and
Yeah,
a
blue
lot of
collar.
losers. There's a
Yeah.
lot of losers, and I told you guys before I had to fire that guy for drinking on my job. And
Yeah, he
the
had
other
to go.
the other guy, my roofer, a great guy, great roofer. He's good at what he does, and he cares about what he does, but he's just hung up on them opioids. And if he ain't got it, he ain't doing it, and he ain't
Yeah.
functioning. And he's a kratom guy, but he's eating.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he eats spoonful after spoonful after spoonful.
Oh,
Yeah, he
shit,
doesn't do it
dude.
right, man. He
Hold
doesn't
his
do
head
it
up.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah, 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 yeah. We've
And
talked about that
so-
stuff that you really have to, that's
So-
an acute use of that stuff. You
Less is
cannot
more. Less is
consistently
more.
using that is a huge no.
Yeah,
You put
he looks
yourself
like
in a
shit.
bad zone.
And so I got rid of him, and so I'm pretty much a one-man show right now.
Oh,
And
fuck.
so, I mean, my
Fuck,
pages,
really?
there's a bunch of pages in here that says, God send me a sober, reliable, professional roofer.
Find him in
And
the gym.
You don't have a spot where you can
and
go pick up some local
Yeah.
labor?
no, I don't live in the city.
Well,
This backwoods.
find him at church
Go down to
or
the
in
Home
the gym,
Depot.
right?
Find him at
So
church in the
I'll go
gym,
sit at the
yeah.
gas. I'll go sit at the gas station or in front of the smoke shop and and I'll talk to people, but no avail yet. So anyway, I've been manifesting a sober roofer. I'm on a siding and or a soffit fascia job, and my dad shows up and says, "Fuck it, I'll go to work with you tomorrow." And he's been retired for 3 years. I was like, "Are you sure, Dad?" He's like, "Yeah, I just stand on the ground and cut panels for you. I can do that." So God sent me someone, not who I was expecting. I'm happier than hell it's him because I've been missing him. You know,
You
we've
never
been
know.
shoulder
You
to
never
shoulder
know how,
for,
you never know how it's answered.
yeah. So I accept it, and I'm really excited about it because my dad, he's been my best friend for my entire life. And, you know, we've had our differences, but I know no matter what we went through that I could always call him and, you know, he's got $7 or he's got a plate of, you know, somewhere to go hang out or, you know, whatever. Some rotten leftovers that my brother eats or whatever. Just, he's a great guy, all around great guy. Come from a long line of great fathers and a long line of shitty mothers. So,
Really?
yeah,
Well, you know, yeah. It's your past,
but
it's your story, right? It's
yeah.
the one thing that's 100% accepted is a person's truth and where they came from. And if a person can't handle that, then well,
Well,
you gotta do some work.
I'm actually happy to say that
Thank you, Stanton, though.
my mom has turned her
And
life
they're
around.
moms, right? Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. And so, I mean, 90% of my relationship with my mother's been over the phone, but if I need vitamins or whatever, they're in the mail, you know. If I need some Jesus talk, she's a phone call away. And
Yes.
so, you know,
Yep. That
um,
resonates with me.
yeah.
But
So,
you basically what I got from that is your desire to be that better person and also the benefits you currently seeing from personal development is what keeps you coming back.
yeah, because the
Beautiful.
person I am today from March, man, I probably wouldn't even know myself if I met me in March. So,
Beautiful. What's is that you good?
yeah, I'm
And
good.
what
I
kind
actually
of life?
got a,
I want everybody to have an organic time slot to say what they need to say, and I'm not going to cap you. So let's move on to. I want to get to Eric and Franco quick before we dip out because we all gotta show up into our respective days. Otherwise, they'll come call and be like, "Where the hell are you?" At
thank
least
you
my work
guys.
will. Yeah,
Thank you.
man.
I wasn't sure how that would go. I'd stammer over myself, but I think it went well. Thank you.
What resonates to me with respect to Franco here? Okay, where's one? Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Productivity hacks, Franco, maximizing, your morning routine. What are some habits? And I know you've talked about meal prepping a lot. Yeah, what are some habits that enhance your productivity and just set a positive tone to your day?
It's like you just said, I have to stay pretty consistent with what I do in the morning. I keep my routine. It's things have to be done a certain way, to make sure that I set myself up for success. You know, uh, it's just, I mean, it's the ability to get more accomplished. Is one of the things that I really work on. It's like there's so much to do, and I take a lot of value in being able to actually accomplish a lot versus running around with a chicken with its head cut off, and like some people that get overwhelmed, feel like, oh, I
Yeah,
gotta clean, I gotta dishes, blah blah blah. The next thing
just
you know, they
playing
got nothing done.
whack-a-mole all day,
Yeah,
just trying to.
and honestly, they don't get anything accomplished. They might dabble in a couple of things. They might wash a dish and then be like, oh crap, laundry, and run over to that and this and that, and then next thing you know, nothing was really done. So that's the big thing that I try to do is just, at least with that aspect, is I don't want to ruin my day by starting it off improperly. And I don't want to ruin a good day by finishing it improperly. So right now, my beginning and the end of my day is spot on. It's the middle part that I've just kind of rolling the dice and just kind of flew to the fucking wind, and I've been completely
Yeah.
screwing up on it.
Mine's
I
towards
can
the
get I
end of
can
the
get more
day.
into that on Saturday when it's a little bit quieter to talk. Because I'm at the dump right now and it's super loud in here right now. But
A lot of backing
right
up
now,
sounds.
yeah, I got my tailgate open up and track, so everything's pretty loud. But I'll just leave it with this. I've been pretty inconsistent, like I said, in the middle of my day. After the beginning and the end. I've had a lot happen. I'm in an extremely dark place. My depression and anxiety and everything. I'd say it probably one of the worst that it's ever been in my life. So
Shit, man. Well,
consistently coming in here has been helping a lot with that.
good, dude. I'm glad you're in here. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, I got to jump
Me
out.
too,
right
bro.
I'm going to jump out right now to get to the back of the truck, and there's no way you guys can hear me. But,
All right, Franco. I'm glad I got to you, buddy.
yeah. Well, we'll definitely talk.
Yep. If something comes to mind, you keep it in mind, write it down, and we can talk about it. Meet Eric or Brandon. Brandon or Eric, when you guys want to go? I got one for I got one for both of you.
What you got?
Okay, we'll go with Eric.
Yeah, hold on for just a second, because I'm gonna lose you as I
Okay.
walk the spot.
You're going through a cellular sinkhole?
Yeah, man, it's right here. I'm about to walk into the front door, and it usually cuts out in the next 50 yards or so, and then it'll pick back up. So you might be able to hear me, but usually I can't hear you guys. So
Okay, well, how do you increase or how do you enhance or how do you just stay consistent with your focus and clarity? I guess, benefits of, I don't know, your mindfulness practices, techniques that you just use to improve focus and your decision-making skills. I know that's kind of vague in what I said there, and so I kind of just leave it open to whatever resonates with you.
okay, can you repeat the question, please?
So, mindfulness and enhancing focus and, maintaining focus and clarity on your many pursuits of your life, right? Professional,
Okay.
personal,
Yep.
yeah.
So how do I maintain clarity? Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Like I just walked in the house, so I think it's like know thyself, right? You have to know where you're going or intend to go as the journey begins. And I often think that most people fall into a routine and they don't necessarily
Cliffhanger. Don't necessarily. He'll come back.
that is no, then it's just a wish.
Eric, you cut out. You were like, I don't necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay. You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, it was
All
like
right,
it was like 20 seconds or not even 10 seconds. I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, what I was saying is that like, for example, like most people don't know where they want to go, right? Most people are in a routine. And even like myself, right? Like, hey, decent job, but it feels like you're just doing time, right? So I go back and say, well, what is it really that I want to do? Is it goals that I know that will propel myself forward in my career? Or is there something else out there that I really desire to do? And our ability to really identify, and I'm going to say, know thyself, right? What is it that you want to do? You want to be a fucking coach? Okay, what does it take to be a coach?
Well, let's talk about consistency. Let's talk about nutrition. Let's talk about a lot of the things that we've already discussed before in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I have a problem, and here's my issue. Usually, whatever it is I put my mind and body to, I can learn and come up to speed relatively fast. In other words, if I was an RPG in a game, I'd be the guy that be at level 3 while somebody else is still at level 1 within a short window of time, right? But then I'm like, I start to plateau. I don't know if it's because I get distracted or something else is occurring, but it's that process of really knowing where I want to go. So then I come back to that and say, okay, I know that if I'm going to stay doing what I'm doing, I've got to go to that next spot. But in the big picture of life, because I do work for a living, you know, is that what I really want to do? So I think it comes back to the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves and truly trying to identify what is it that you want to do. And then having being on the inside, being brave enough to go after it and to go do it, right? That's the other thing because there's a process. Let's
Yes.
call it a death, right? You gotta fucking let go of whatever was in order to step into that
Okay.
that that
Up,
new
dog. Hold on.
yeah, okay. Okay, Aaron, I think you're off mute. So you gotta step in, you gotta step to that, right? So then the next question is if you've identified truly where it is you want to go and you're brave enough to do it, then you got to be prepared, right? And preparation is
Yes.
everything that I believe, all the marks, let's just say it's physical fitness. I need to be able to throw down 100 burpees within 15 or 20 minutes, whatever that time is for you, right? Yeah, I'm at a certain level and I know that I can help you get to that level and there's a process to it, right? And most people don't think like that. It's more like a want or a desire or a wish. And you know, if whatever track you go down in life, there's the fucking grind of what it is. It's not
Yep.
easy. It's not easy to do that, right?
No.
You
Right.
can look at examples like Wes, right? Like every day you're waking up in a box and all you can do is do your push-ups. And I'll never forget this one time. He's like, whatever you're doing, you better make it fun because it's a motherfucker. It's something that you're gonna have to do religiously every single day to build
Regardless.
yourself and to separate yourself. So, you know, I had a great teacher one time, right? And when like we would do jujitsu or whatever, like this guy he tweaked his knee, right? So what did he do? He wrapped his leg and his knee into a position using a belt, so he couldn't move the leg or the knee. In other words, there was no excuse. He said, "I got two arms and one leg, and I'm gonna figure it out." It's that kind of a mentality that we have to go after, whatever it is that we desire. And you know, to be honest with you, finding like-minded
Please.
people that are in a group like this, we're all seeking not the same thing, but a similar thing, you know, which is to improve every day and to
Mm.
help each other. So we're kind of doing this exchange. We're giving back. You know, Stanton, I can relate, man. I had to cut out a bunch of people, and
Yeah.
it's a lonely walk, man. And it's really easy just to roll back and say, you know, give me that fucking joint. Give me some of that weed, right? Whatever
And
it
it'll
is.
be there. Right. It'll be there if you want it.
And then, you know, these are programs and shit that we run in our mind to help us cope with our current reality. So I look at it this way, right? I think I was listening to Jocko one time. He said, if I was lost in the woods and I didn't know where I was, and the first thing I'd have to do is orient myself. Which way am I going? Okay, the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. So I have an idea between east and west. And I would just start fucking walking. And eventually I would come across a stream. And then I would look at which direction that the stream is going. and I would follow the stream downhill. Okay, the stream's going to open up into something a little bit larger, or a creek, or maybe a small river. I'm going to continue to follow the river, because if I follow the river, eventually I should come to a road. So the process is the same. You got to start with orienting yourself. Number two, you got to
Yeah,
take
come to the
action.
road.
Number three, you got to start. You got to start fucking walking, right? And
Yeah.
it's profound, but it's true. So I challenge us all, right? You know, what is it that you really want to do? And, you know, what are the building blocks to getting there? And then, because we have a group, and the group has the same kind of mental, you know, a mental energy, I would say propose it to the group. You know, hey, this is where I want to go. You know, these are the
Yes.
steps that I believe that is going to help me get there. And what I need you guys to do is poke holes in that motherfucker and tell me where my thinking is not aligned or is missing, because now I'm drawing on the collective. We've got a collective energy. We come here with positive intent. For each of you that's on the call, I want to see that you do well in life. You have, you know,
Nothing but.
living with a full heart, and getting what your heart desires, you know. And for each of us is different. I can go down the list because I know some of your stories, but bring it, find out, try to orient yourself, you know, identify the path. And then when you think, you say, hey, I know that I want to go over there, have the courage to say, hey guys, help me with this. What else do you guys think I need to have in place to be able to do it, right? And then of course you got to do the work, write it down. You got to plan, right? You got to
Yes.
document everything, you know.
Hmm.
So this is like here again, case in point, myself, right? Like I do certain things fucking well. I know that I do, and I would rather do the things that I do well than the things that I feel that are arduous. Like me, I hate paperwork. I don't like it. You know, I will procrastinate to no end not to do the damn paperwork. And that could be for business reasons. It could be in my current employment, but it's something that just, you know, it makes me cringe. I'm like, okay, I got to read that. And you know, if it's something that I could get good at and be repetitive, I'll get better and better, and I'll write a checklist and I'll say, this is everything that I did. This is everything that you need to know how to do, and
Yes.
and it's getting to that point where we put pressure on ourselves to say this needs to be done and this needs to be done now, and I need to document it, because I'm probably, in the case of a business, I got to set up a business. You know, I need a registered agent. I need to register with the state. I need to file paperwork. I need to get a bank account. I need to do all these things, and it's either the course of the day, or I got to sit back and take the next hour for my lunch and try to grind through this, and it just makes me cringe. So, you know, I'll leave it at
Yep.
that. And I know we're coming up here on time. It's a little
Beautiful.
after 8. And so thank you for letting me share, and have a great day, everybody. I appreciate you all.
Beautiful, man. You threw a lot at us. I wanted to touch on one thing. What, you know, you kind of mentioned Stanton in there a little bit, and a person has realized there's a destruction phase to personal development, and that is getting rid of those people who don't serve a purpose, and getting rid of the habits that no longer serve you, right? To be able to get into that new life. And that's what scares a lot of people. It's like, hey, yeah, well, you can't be doing that if you want this over here. So
Right.
that's what keeps a lot of people you know, out of the batter's box, is that right there. Is like,
It's
I
fear,
have,
bro. It's fear, bro. It's
the
fucking
fear
fear.
and insecurity. Yes.
Okay. And then it's the idea that, man, I'm walking this path alone, and having to do that, you know, that'll fuck you up, because everything that you knew, let's just say you get the idea right in your own mind. Now you got to, if you choose to go back, because let's say they're your lifelong friends, and you're gonna go hang with them, are you gonna fall back on your old habits? or are you gonna be that new motherfucker, right? The tenacious guy, this guy that says, "Hey, I'm in full acceptance, and I know that I can't do that." And for a lot of people, the answer is no, man. You put yourself in the environment, and you will immediately go back to doing things that
Yes.
you are
You
probably
and you might do it double fold. Like think of like
right, like
the
catching up.
heroin addict that got sober, right? And all of a
Yeah.
sudden he's like, okay, he does the relapse and he freaking goes
See?
super hard. And it's like, whoo, yeah.
You
You'll
know, and then
always
like for me, right? I grew up with an alcoholic, right? So I knew at a young age, I was like, I'll never be like that, right? But the older me, in looking back, you know, I've noticed tendencies in myself where I don't drink every day, right? Matter of fact, I try not to drink, right? But
right. Same here.
if I have and I get around some people that are drinking, it's like I binge. I'll fucking push the pedal down, and I said, you know what? That's not working for me anymore. I can't do that. I don't want
Right.
to because you know, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Like there's the aftermath of it, right? Fucks up my sleep. It'll be multiple
You're
days
locked in
before
too.
multiple days before I feel like my energy has been recharged the way that I need to live life. And as we get older, right, it just takes a larger toll. You're not just gonna bounce back like you were in your 20s. And that's a problem because I got shit to do and I got these goals, these things that we just talked about that are way more important, right? So, you know, again, it's the old crowd has the ability to hold you down or put you in a situation in which, you know, you might unless you know it's years down the line and you're coming with such a new belief and new strength that that right there can easily, just through environment alone, can pull you back. So, you
It
know,
can.
I would say cleanse your environment, get around like-minded people, orient yourself, and determine, you know, the first steps of where it is that you want to go. And you know, as a group, for each one of us, all love, let's go, right? We can do this. Whatever it is is in your heart and in your mind, you can do it. I believe in you guys.
Exactly.
Yo, Aaron, we never heard from Brandon. I think
That's what I was gonna I got
Hold
yes,
on.
I got a question for him. I
Yeah.
got one. And it is
Brandon, you're gonna be the closer.
There you go.
Send us off. Get us something going.
Send us
The
off.
Demon Slayer.
you
Right
know,
foot.
like we talked about a while back, you know, leading or you know, back in like February, I think it was leading, but giving back as a leader. And we were discussing the role of, you know, the social responsibility in leadership and you know, exploring giving back how giving back as a leader can enhance personal and professional development. Does that make sense, Brandon? You know, giving back as a leader, how you're on mute. You know,
Well,
authentically. Yeah, go ahead.
I had a couple of thoughts too. First, here's maybe, I don't know, giving back, right? With Stanton and Franco, right? I think considering some geographical movement, like stepping away from the plate, like I think, you know,
Yeah.
for me, I can't leave a minute. Like I was thinking about this with my daughter too. It's just like I don't think she realizes, like, I can't leave one moment of my day up to stale time. Like, I'm not looking to fucking hang out. I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, let's get to business or let's get the fuck away from each other.
You don't want to
Like,
hang out,
that's it.
Brandon? You don't want to hang out?
Not really. If we're in the lab doing something productive, then that's acceptable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Otherwise, like, I make the decision right there. Like, I just don't even fuck around. And I think
Right.
anytime that we, you know, that Voltaire quote, that AR posted a while ago, like, you know, a whole bunch of Voltaire quotes. Somehow that one escaped me, and it's the hardest hitting one. And I was like, whoa, you know, God, you are guilty of all the good things that you don't do, you know, and I feel that, man. And what are we always talking about? Like, it's who's going to slay the dragon. It's who's going to slay the dragon. Like, especially now, we need you. I mean, I was telling Chang in the beginning of the meeting, the few guys that were here, I was like, man, my faith in humanity has been restored after this election just a little bit, and just the things that RFK are saying, and just, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was all, or, you know, but hopefully it's not another just deception inside of a deception. But I thought that it was going to be a whole, you know, and I thought it was going to be another theft thing, right? So, I mean, you know, here's where I really think
America was on board there. America was on board.
Yeah, dude, I'm proud of you know, I fucking served, right, honorably and all that. Anyway, this is what I'm thinking for this whole thing. It's like, I take this one from nature, right? You got to get a trunk and then branch out, and like, if you got enough character, really, this is what I see, then life will come into it, and then you have to support that life, right? So, and I think, you know, character is really your intentions, and you know, and the other thing about that is the growth rate. Like, you have to pay attention to, we're supposed to be playing the long game. You know what I mean? It takes time. Not everything's going to happen right away. So you got to just accept that knowledge. I think that it's going to take time. This is just what helps me, right? This is the way I've been framed it. I guess we could frame it all the other kind of way. You know, we can frame it however we want. And so I'm open to a better frame for sure. But I think that, you know, I'm committed to the long game. I know it's going to take time to grow from a weak species to a trunk bark having species. And then the branch out's going to take time as well. And then, you know, I really want to think about that a lot too, because the way that I branch out is going to have everything to do with the life that comes into those branches, you know, into the whole scenario, right? So every moment of the way I grow is so important, because every moment of the next ring or the next chapter or the next expansion phase or the next growth.
It's coming.
What's
coming? Always coming, right?
Yeah.
The next, whatever you're saying.
But you don't want to heal wrong. Like, another thing from another like physiological example of this, even better, is like, if you see some of the shit, we fuck it up, right? Like, you got to get the right placement for bones for sure. But sometimes you'll have like a muscle sprain or whatever, and you'll keep it wrapped too long and it heals wrong. It's not allowed to like get into its own shape correctly, you know, because you've got this thick freaking thing over it. You know what I mean?
Brace.
And that's what I'm thinking of with a lot of the vices. And, you know, I know there's a cat over here.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure. and just different stuff, and like the Netflix you said earlier, that's a big one, man. That is so freaking huge. Some of the most.
You could interchange the word vice for a brace. You know,
I think it's
for a vice.
Anything. I heard one definition that it's anything that creates regret, right? And it does. And it's anything. And then I further define it again, seeing that Voltaire thing, right? Like, you're guilty of all the good you don't do. Fucking A, you are. You know what I mean? And I have that to say about every King Jerry Springer piece of shit that's around my daughter and lets that shit fucking go on and doesn't say anything. You couldn't do that around me, I promise you. No little kid would be in that situation anywhere near me. So I realized, like, the truth of it, and man, I'm just, and we got such, I would say, focus on filling up all the stale air moments with trunk growth moments and action. That's through action. That's through action. That's through action. That's through action. And then I would focus on,
I like
And
it.
then I
Keep
don't-
giving
no,
yourself commands for the day,
Let's
Brandon.
go.
And
Oh,
add a little
God.
flavor, a little style, a little you to it, right? Because none of our personal development journeys are the same here. We all got a little bit of different approach to it, right?
Right. Well,
But
I
there's
got a
the
guy. I got
backbone
a guy.
is the
I
same.
got, yeah, actually, and when I was, well, it happens to all of us. There's a general cycle out there that anyone could unfortunately let come in, where you've got it all figured out mentally and verbally, but there's no action there. So fucking, it's nothing. You know what I mean? And you've got it all figured out. Cool, man. I've heard it already 50 times. You know, fucking dude. You know what I mean? Do it. Do it.
Great
You know,
job. Yeah,
I have
cool.
several people in my life, and I think once you start doing it, then the rest of this shit becomes way easy because you're really at the next step. That's the next step. You have
With
to
that,
just become.
the mind keeps making up ideas and new things and new endeavors. And if you don't exercise those, then those ideas just stack up and you have a bunch of ideas and a lot of ideas just are dog shit, don't work, right? You got to exercise through that. You got to be like, all right, get through that idea. So, you can stack a new idea and you guys get
Man,
it.
dude, Aaron, this class has been super good, man.
Absolutely.
Cool,
Yeah,
man.
like, and all the levers you're
Congrats.
pulling as a coach through this are really it's impressive, man. You're really
Yeah, I'm glad I could give back a day. I've been a little with work. I've had to go in early or sometimes some shit, 'cause with losing a guy at work. So I've been in the morning and stuff. I try to do as best as I can, right? I'm just gonna work it through a little bit of a contraction phase at work. So, but I wanted to give back today because you guys are all, everybody takes their time and
well, speaking
yeah,
of, I
so
mean, time in this is trunk growth, right? For sure. We've
I
already
like
figured
that,
that
dude.
out.
Trunk growth.
And then
And cutting off those sucker branches and those low hanging,
All right.
those low hanging
and
branches.
the other
so
thing,
the trunk
only
can
other
grow.
thing, the only other thing I want to add to this whole deal is that I think would immensely help anyone who's at a low too, that we forget, is I think part of that general low is we're not roaming. We are fucking beasts that are supposed to be roaming in the wild. You're supposed to move around. You know what I mean? Complacent lifestyle, comfort zone, going to your lucky shit every day. You know what I mean? This stuff, like, fuck all that. You know what I mean? I'll sleep in the,
Going to
you
your
know, I
man
might be
cave.
I might be in a luxury spot, but I'm sleeping on the floor. No, something, but you gotta
it, right?
no, but really,
Yeah.
you gotta start switching all those switchings and just like there's no crying, because Dr. Travis Bradbury, here's a scientific thing right here, found out through a study that any complaining actually degenerate thought leads to degenerative brain disease. So, complaining leads to Alzheimer's and
Yep. You're releasing certain hormones.
I wanted to chime in about your weak tree and then your bark tree analogy that you always talk about, and how the same species, one will be weak and one will be strong because of the elements, the wind and whatever elements that they face. Mental toughness. David Goggins talks about it as callousing your mind. That's the strong bark, the mental fortitude and the willpower. That's creating the strong bark. I just had to get that out there. I just had to say that. I'm done.
No, that's
Sorry,
so
Brandon.
true. No, that's so true, bro. That is 100% true. All this activity is going to start in your mind. I think the place people get stuck is that activity point. Now it's time. All right, you got it. Now laser focusing on one opponent in the video game at a time and start knocking it out, and have the faith the whole time that you know where you're going. Strong. Shit. It's who's gonna say the freaking.
And work in the scenario in your mind before you do it. Right?
Visualization.
Wait, say that
Like
one more
John-
time.
Just working the scenario in your mind, envisioning it before you do it.
Yeah, that,
Right.
and but I think also there's a huge amount to be said about taking imperfect action and having
Yeah,
that
better than no
experience.
That's all there
accident at all.
is, really.
Yeah, dude, that's all there fucking is.
What would
I
be a
think, yeah, that
perfect
was a great
action?
response.
I wouldn't even know how to define a perfect action, right?
Exactly. So, you know, we're gonna get better with practice, and you gotta just
That's
take it on, you know? And
yeah.
what I mean.
It'd just be a variance degrees of perfection. It would never be absolute perfection.
And so that's an interesting word, perfect. The
Yeah.
word in the Bible is teleos in the Greek, and teleos means it doesn't mean flawless. It means fully committed. So Jesus said, "You shall be fully, or you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect." He didn't mean flawless as your Father in heaven. He meant fully committed. So when you, with your whole heart, if you are completely poured into something, that's a perfect action. So a perfect action is something that you do with complete commitment, complete dedication, that where you're fully invested in something, and that's how we be perfect, just as our Heavenly Father is perfect. So God went all the way to the cross for us, so we should go all the way, in the things that He's called us to do. Amen.
Amen. Hey guys, I gotta get ready for my day.
Yeah, I
I'm
gotta
just
go.
gonna.
I gotta go too. Aaron, awesome idea for group, man. This is really good. It benefited me for sure.
Cool,
And,
man. Glad.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad.
I don't-
And I got into everybody's mind a little bit about how, their pursuit of whatever I asked them. So that's what I wanted. So
yeah, it was
I wrote
good.
down
Good.
notes too.
So did I. I got a shit ton of notes today.
I'm praying for you all. I really want to see how God is moving in all y'all's life, and I want to see y'all continue to excel further. And if any of you need counsel or prayer or anything, I'm available for any of you guys to reach out, privately or
Cool,
at any
man.
time. All right.
Yeah.
So hit me
Thanks
up.
for
know.
putting that out.
All
Yeah,
right.
brother.
That's
All right,
awesome.
guys. Have a great day. See you all.
Thanks, guys. I'll see
Yep.
you in the
Thank
morning.
you.
Crush it, guys.
You guys, talk to you in the thread.
Love y'all. Yeah.
Crush it.
All right, guys. Love y'all.
Have a great day, everybody.